21 on CJ 8800. I'm Dave Kaufman. You can follow me on Twitter at The Kaufman Show. It's the 20th of August. 3 years ago today, jumped in the car with my little sister and drove to Kingston for a show that scared the hell out of me, to be honest with you. The entire summer I had this feeling in my throat that the Hip weren't going to make it to Kingston. We'll rewind a bit. May 24th, you were probably woken up by news from Andrew Carter that Gord Downie had terminal brain cancer, and the lead singer of Canada's greatest band would be pulling a Terry Fox type level of courage and touring the country one last time to thank the fans, to raise awareness for glioblastoma, the incurable brain cancer that kills so many Canadians every year. And right away, it just had this feeling of extreme significance, not just if you were a fan of the Hip. Maybe part of it was just having them be a part of your identity as somebody who's Canadian and had their music as the soundtrack to your lives, like me. Maybe it was that you had somebody close to you that had gone through something as momentous as this and had shown the strength and courage and resolve to fight and to still maintain a piece of themselves. Well, it made me want to drop everything and go across the country and be as much a part of this as I could. Which was a little bit emotionally overwhelming, I'm not going to lie. I went to Calgary and Winnipeg and Toronto and Hamilton and Ottawa, and then finally Kingston. Which, I've never run a marathon, but I have a feeling that's being in Kingston at the end of that for that final show felt like a marathon. It's the only time I've ever been at a Hip concert, and I'll out myself as insane, and having been to about 75 of them starting when I was 14 years old at the Montreal Forum. It was the only time I had ever been to a show and wondered what it was like to not be at the show. Why? Because when Amy and I went into that show, we walked by the center of town in Kingston, the Center Square, I think they call it. Market Square, sorry. And 25,000 people standing in the square waiting for the concert to start. 3,000 of you on Monkland. Every park in this darn country. I'm sure you've seen that video of Canada belting out Ahead by a Century, that final, the final song of the night when it went across the country. 11 million people watched that, which I think up until the Raptors won was the second biggest viewing in Canadian history. All this to say that it was really one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, and I was so proud to have had this feeling for this band for so long, to have seen them in smoky nightclubs and in decrepit CFL stadiums, in opera houses, in farmers' fields, in a building in Albany, New York that looked like an egg. I can't believe it's been 1,100 days since my last Hip show. And I hope that you have something artistic that you love as much as I loved these guys. Because they helped make my life a little bit better and a little bit happier, and definitely helped me learn a lot. And wow, was Gord Downie a wonderful role model. And hopefully this week we'll have an opportunity to talk about the fact that lives are now longer for those suffering from glioblastoma because of the research and the efforts of Gord Downie. Hopefully we can talk about how we are finally acknowledging our wrongs with the Native communities across this country, partially thanks to Gord Downie raising the story of Cheney Wenjack and making us realize that there is so much work to do and that it only gets done if we do it, not by sitting on the sidelines and watching. there's a lot there, and this really hit me yesterday when I got the news that my friend and Quebec baseball legend Derek Aucoin is now fighting glioblastoma. He developed this terrible disease sometime in the last few weeks, and released a statement on the TVA website yesterday. You may remember Derek. He was a Montreal-born guy who made it all the way to playing for the Expos and has been a big-time sports journalist in this town. And much like with Gord and Gary Carter and so many, we know that Derek is on a really tough road ahead. And we wish him nothing but love and respect and courage.